How did I end up in this situation? Particularly seeing as this is my home.
Hello, my name is Robbie Sianovich. I'm a cryptozoologist. I'm also from the state of Connecticut, and I'm also an Eagle Scout. So I've been doing camping in the state of Connecticut. But cryptozoology and Connecticut normally don't go together. It's a small state with not that many woods. But there are two cryptids that I'm after. Well, one cryptid, but also another oddity. The first one, obviously, is the cryptid of them all, Bigfoot. Another cryptid, at least for the state of Connecticut, is the American mountain lion. Now, okay, I know what you're saying, it does exist, which it does, but mountain lions have not been seen in the state of Connecticut officially since 1936. But in the past 10 or 20 years, they've been popping up throughout New England. And including the state of Connecticut. Also, what has occasionally been sighted in the state of Connecticut is Bigfoot, at least supposedly. So I'm going on an expedition to Nutmeg State Park in far northeast Connecticut. Not too far from there is also another forest near and dear to my heart, the Junior Cross Webster Scout Reservation. It'd be fun to be in a familiar.
As I take the Uber to Bigelow State Park, eventually to Nipmunk, I contemplate what I might face while looking out the window.
So while I'm getting over cooking my baked potatoes, I'm going to go over what I suspect some of the things that I might find out here. I do know the bear are out here. I do know that coyotes are out here. Of course, fox. What I'm hoping to find is Bigfoot as well as some cougars. As I packed up the camp, I'd like to give a special thanks to Sweatcoin for sending me these, Pan and Sweat, and North Carolina Fort Fisher Aquarium for giving me this thing. I carry it everywhere with me these days. Those times are fun. And I'm about to put these in here after the water I just made. That is drinking. I'm actually about to head in further into the woods, see if I can attract or try to communicate with a Bigfoot. I got my stick here. I've got my World War II hand-cranked air raid siren, which is to use to simulate the quote-unquote Bigfoot call. Right here.
I then reorientate myself to do some wood knocks. Sorry for the poor camera work, but this is all I got when it's just me. But there's also something else I think I need to explain to you guys.
So while I'm waiting for some things to charge up properly and things to help give a little rest, I'm going to explain something that probably a lot of things aren't explained in most cryptozoology, any type of, any nature documentary for that matter. And that is the concept of production efficiency. Production efficiency means that only 10% goes from one trophic level to the next. So from the trees around me, all that stuff, only 10% of the energy from that stuff goes into the herbivores. only 10% of that goes to the next trophic level, and so on and so forth. It's one of the problems with Connecticut, actually. It's small. This is about as remote as you can get. This is Union, but it's once you get into Union, you get pretty close. It starts to get pretty rural pretty quickly. Outside of this, and then just a couple more hours, just about half an hour by car, it gets into suburbia, and then within 2 hours, not even that, probably within 45 minutes, you're in the closest formal city, which I believe here is Willimantic. For some lunch, I'm gonna have some Sands PB&J meal bar. Once again, paid by sweat, with sweat coins.
So after my impromptu lunch, I continue with my research with more hand cranked air raid sirens, more wood knocks, and waiting. But I may have made a slight boo-boo. Oh, hi! The owners of this dog tell me I am not on the trail or road that I think I'm on. I think I'm here when in actuality I'm out here. This means I have to go via the orange and blue trail, which is very rigorous, and not the Cat's Rock Road, which would be more conducive to someone on a bicycle. But I press on nonetheless, doing more wood knocks, air raid sirens, but still, eventually, with all the gear that I'm lugging and the fact that I'm on the wrong trail, I have to give up.
Well, I guess this is going to be an interesting scenario, actually. Due to the fact I took a wrong turn, I actually had to contact emergency services to get me out of here because I'm so dehydrated and exhausted. I don't know what's going to happen from here, but if they're at least just going to get me some fluids and get me back here to the lean-to, or get me back to, I don't know, Dielson State Hospital or whatever. I don't know just yet, but we'll see. Unless I got all my gear.
While waiting for fire and rescue, I find out that I have to leave the specific area that I need to so that the ATVs can get me. And unfortunately, I get lost a little bit as well while still leaving my gear behind. But fortunately, I bump into somebody who can help me.
The guy I owe a bit to is a wilderness survival expert. Kind of like me, although I kind of screwed up because I got lost. I have to give him some thanks because he saved my butt because I lost power and I got jack signal.
And that is how I ended up here, even in my own state. I still have to go back and get the gear that I left, which is all the way out where X marks the spot on this map. And a week later, I do just that.
Well, I managed to get my gear back. Now I just got to get home once again.
I do manage to do just that with some help of friends and family.
Well, that was pretty much a bust. But in hindsight, it does actually make some sense. It goes back to the old 10% rule. The fact that only 10% of energy can go up to the next trophic level, as we say. And Connecticut has been built up pretty darn well. It's a small state to begin with, and it is a very densely populated state. So you can only get so remote. The only place that I can think of that might be able to hold these things is not Union, which is on the eastern side of Connecticut, but areas on the western side of Connecticut, sort of in the northwest area. I might try to have us go there someday, but in the eastern part of Connecticut, we're just too much. It's too densely packed. They're just not here. And the same thing goes for Bigfoot. This is a very small state, very densely packed. You can only get so remote. And, okay, maybe you get a wander here and there in the northern parts of Connecticut, maybe Union. You just are not going to get a resident population of cougars or Bigfoot anytime soon. The only way I could think of that happening is if we if we basically cut down a bunch of areas, try to reforest some areas, and allow nature to heal. Other than that, it's just not going to happen because we're too densely packed. But this expedition has shown some of the limitations that I have, but also where I need to go further. With the whole COVID going on right now, that's not going to happen because as soon as I get off the train, both here or there, they're just flat out going to arrest me. But that will end in due time.
There's a place that's nearest to heaven, where the hills roll up to the sky, and the land is peaceful and lovely. It's where I want to live and die. I love the hills of my Connecticut. I love its valleys and its streams. I've got my loved ones in Connecticut, and they're always in my dreams. My heart is home among those friendly hills, and no matter where I roam, I love the hills of my Connecticut, Connecticut, my own. My heart is home among those friendly hills, and no matter where I roam, I love the hills of